Hi student, I am Dr. Simi Khurana from Ajay Kumar Garg Institute of Management. Today I am going to discuss financial derivatives, unit second. Topic which I am going to discuss today, that is the forward concepts, then features of the forward contracts, how does forward contract works, types of forward contract, merits and demerits of forward contract. Now, first let us understand the meaning of the forward contract. Forward contract is actually simply financial derivative instrument. It is a very simple financial derivative instruments. Forward contracts are customized contract between buyer and seller to buy or sell an asset at a certain time in the future at a certain price which is decided right now, which is decided in advance. We can say that in other words, a forward contract is a customized derivative contract between two parties. One is the buyer and the second one is the seller. They are going to buy or sell an asset at a specified price, the price which is defined in the contract on a future date. The future date means the expiry date. In the forward contract, there are the two parties, one is buyer and the second one is the seller, and they are going to do the trade at some future date at stated price. The price is already defined in advance. I have already discussed this thing. There are the two key elements, the date means the expiration date on which the commodity will be bought or sold is determined in advance. Then again the prices are also to be decided in advance. The prices to be paid, it is paid by the buyer of the contract, and received by the seller of the contract. At that future date, which is also known as expiry date, is also determined at predefined price or the predefined period. Forward contracts are standardized contract. It means they are customized contract. Just like the future, they are not traded on the exchange. They are the private contracts, the contract between two financial institutions or it between the financial institutions and one of its client. Forward contracts are differ from the spot or the cash contract, because in the forward contract we are going to decide everything in advance, but in the case of the forward contracts which are differ in the cash and the spot price, in which the delivery is take place with an immediate short settlement of period. The buyer of the forward contract agrees to buy an underlying asset at a certain time in the future at a certain price that is decided in advance. Then the seller of the forward contract agrees to deliver the underlying asset in the at the current time in the future at a current price, which is again decided in the advance. My dear student, as we know that in the case of forward contract, there is no need to pay any payment at the time when the contract is made. All the transactions are take place when the contract actually delivered. In the simple form, they are the over counter derivatives that are tailored to meet the specific user's need. It means these are the contracts which are made according to the buyer and seller's requirement. They are going to decide the price, they are going to decide the quantity, they are going to decide the quality. All the things are decided by the buyer and seller together. This underlying assets, it may be the traditional agriculture or the physical commodity. Agriculture commodity means rice, maize, then currencies, it can be any kind of the currency, then interest rates. These are the underlying assets. Now the question arises, how does forward contract works? Actually, there are the two steps which are very important. I have already discussed in a forward contract, there are the two parties, again the things are same, that the buyer and the seller is there. They agree upon a price, quantity and date in the future in which the contract is performed. The second one is the performance of a forward contract. There are the two ways. How the settlement can be made? There are the two ways. One is the settlement by the physical delivery of an asset. The second one is the cash settlement for different prices without physical delivery of the goods. If there is a cash settlement, then there is no need for the physical delivery of the good, but if there is a physical delivery of the asset, then the cash is missing in that transaction. There are the two cases relating to the profit and gains to the buyer and the seller. The first one is when the future spot price exceeds the delivery price. Future spot price, you can say in another word, it is a market price. When it is exceed the delivery price, in this case what happened? The buyer would have a cash gain and the seller have a cash loss. In the second case, the reverse is now when the delivery price exceeds the future spot price. In this situation, the seller has a cash gain and the buyer has a seller has a cash loss. This can be explained with the help of example. Let us take this one. A forward contract is made between two parties and the names of the parties are Ms. Samriddhi and Mr. Ajay. The position of the counterparties, Ms. Samriddhi is the buyer of the contract, that he is having the long position, and Mr. Ajay is the seller of the contract, that is short position. Now, when the contract will start, the date of the contract is 1st April 2022. Then the nature of the transaction delivery of 5000 kg basmati rice, date of delivery is 31st July 2022. Now, let us discuss about the price. The current spot price is rupees 80 per kg. Delivery price as on 31st July 2022 is rupees 90 per kg. Now, we have to do the calculation relating to the gain or the losses of Ms. Samriddhi and Mr. Ajay. The market price as on 31st July 2022 is 100 per kg and rupees 85 per kg. Now, let us do the calculation first. Case the market price. Market price is rupees 100 per kg. And we have already discussed delivery price. It is already given. Delivery price, which is decided in advance, is rupees 90 per kg. Now, what happens? Delivery price, that is 90 and the market price is 100. Here the prices, spot price is more as compared to the delivery price. Here Ms. Samriddhi gain. How much? Actually, how much he will pay? He will pay 90 multiplied by 5000, and this is the actual payment made by the Samriddhi. It is a 4,50,000. But in the market, the price is right now 100. Again, you have to multiply by with 5000. It will become 5 lakh. How much is the profit? That is 50,000. this is a profit to Mr. Samriddhi, but this is a loss, again this is a loss to Mr. Ajay also. In the next case, if the market price is 85, then what will happen? There are the two situations, the buyer will get the benefit or the seller will get the benefit. In the first case, the market price is more than the delivery price, here the buyer will get the benefit, but in the second case, here the seller will get the benefit. Now, Mr. Ajay will get the benefit how much? 90 minus 85, it's rupees 5. Simple, you have to do the multiply, 5000 multiply by 5, it will become 25,000. This is the benefit to Mr. Ajay, but this is a benefit to Mr. Ajay and loss to Samriddhi. I think now it's clear. Let us move further. Features of the forward contract. I have already discussed there are the two parties. This is a bilateral contract. One party is buyer and the second one is the seller. Hence, they are exposed to the counterparty risk. I have already discussed it again, definition that forward contracts are customized contract. If it is customized contract, it is customized designed. It's unique in the terms of contract size, expiration date, the asset type, quality, etc. In the forward contract, one of the party takes a long position by agreeing to buy the asset at a certain time in future. Again, the other person, that is known as the seller, is said to have a short position by he is going to buy, agreeing to sell the same asset at the same date for the same specified price. The specified price in a forward contract is referred to as a delivery price. Then in a forward contract, the contract has to be settled by the delivery of the asset on the expiration date, the date which is decided in advance. Then, as we know that the forward contracts are very popular in the foreign exchange market to hedge the currency risk as well as the interest rate bearing securities. Most of the multinational companies and the international banks quoted the forward rate through their forward desk lying within their foreign exchange trading room. Next topic is types of the forward contract. As per the Indian Forward Contract Act 1952, forward contracts are divided into three parts. One is has contracts, the second one is a transferable specific delivery, which is known as TSD in the short form contracts, then non transferable specific delivery, which is known as NTSD contracts. The first one is a hedge contracts. Hedge contracts are freely transferable contracts and do not specify any particular lot, consignment or the variety for the delivery. The second one is the transferable specific delivery contracts. Again, these are contracts which are easily transferable from one party to another, but are concerned with the specific and predetermined consignment. Each and everything are defined, whether it relates to the quantity, quality, everything is defined in advance, delivery. And one thing which is very important in these contracts, that delivery is mandatory, it means it is necessary. Next one is a non-transferable specific delivery contract, as the case indicates, are not transferable at all. These contracts are not transferable at all and as such they are highly specific. Next one is the benefits and limitations of the forward contracts. First one is the contracts can be used to hedge or lock in the price of the purchase or the sale of commodity. Hedge means you are going to decide the prices in advance. You are going to decide the prices in the advance when the contract is entered. Then the people are going to hedge their risk. There may be the chance of increasing the price or decreasing the prices. If the market price are going to be increased, then the buyer is going to get benefit. In the other case, if the market price are going to be decreased, then the seller will get benefit. I have already discussed this thing in the example. Then lock in the price. Lock in the price means the price is already decided relating to the purchase and the sale of the commodity. On the forward contract, generally the margins are not paid. It means no need to pay any amount, no need to pay exchange anything. There is no need to pay any cash to the buyer or the seller. No margin amount is required to be paid. In future, there is a need to pay the margin amount, but in the forward contract there is no need to pay any amount. Initial amount is 0, only the amount will be paid at the time when actual execution of the contract is take place. There is also no upfront premium as in the case of the option, so it does not involve initial cost. I have already said that it is a tailor-made privately negotiated contract, hence it can be designed as per the suitability by the parties. Party means both the sellers and the buyer. There are the certain disadvantages also. Counterparty risk is very much present in the forward contracts. Why there is a counterparty risk? Because there are the two parties, one the buyer and the seller. If the buyer, it is not on the exchange traded funds, they are the privately negotiated. If the buyer is not satisfied and he is not ready to take the delivery of the underlying asset, and if the seller is not ready to give the delivery of the underlying asset, then there is a risk the performance is going to be a halt. Then there is a counterparty risk which is very much in the forward contract. On the due date, the possibility of the counterparty failure to perform his obligation creates another risk exposure. Since I have already discussed that the forward contracts are not exchange traded contracts, they are not standardized contracts, they are OTC contracts. They can be done through the telephone also. They have no ready liquidity. Further, there is a difficulty to get counterparty on one's term. In the case we have discussed so far relating to the forward contract, first we discussed the meaning, which is very simple. That is, the forward contracts are those contracts which are customized. Buyer and seller are going to buy or sell the particular asset on a particular at a certain time in the future and at a certain price which are decided in the advance. Next, what we have discussed about the features of the forward contracts. Then we will discuss the types of the forward contracts. There are the three types, that is a hedge contracts, then transferable specific contracts, then non-transferable specific contracts. Then we will discuss the merits and demerits. I have discussed the forward contract with the help of example. That is very important, because in the example I have discussed how the buyer and the seller will get the benefit if there is a change in the prices. If change in the prices means if the delivery price and the market prices differ. Market price means future price, and buyer is getting the benefit if the market price is less than the delivery price, but in the case of the seller, he will get the benefit only when the market price is less than the delivery price. There is a difference in both the things, And one thing which is very important in the forward contract, is that they are not like the future contracts. Actually, future contracts are traded on the exchange. They have a exchange, but in the case of the forward contract, they don't have any exchange. They are customized. Parties can negotiate. They can negotiate the price. They can negotiate the quantity. They can negotiate the date. Anything they can do the negotiation. And the one thing which is more important in the future contract is that there is a need to pay the initial margin, but in the case of the forward contract there is no need to pay the initial margin. Different types of the margins we are paid in the case of the futures, just like a maintenance margin, variation margin, but in the case of the forward contract no need to exchange the amount, and the forward contracts are the private negotiated contract. They are simply trade between the party. We have to find out the person who is ready to buy or sell an asset which he or she is interested. Generally, this kind of the contracts are happen in the agriculture commodity. So, agriculture commodity means in the case of the rice, in the case of the wheat, in the case of the maize, the farmers and the customers are going to do such kind of the forward contract. I have already discussed one thing more, that the forward contracts are more suitable in the foreign market also, where the foreigners are going to hedge their risk in the for the currency, because the prices of the currencies are going to be changed with the change in time. But if they are decided their prices in the advance, then it is going to be uh, uh, then it is going to good for them. Thanks student, thank you very much.